Hi, this is Annie of ByAnnie.com and Patterns by Annie. Thank you so much for joining us today for Live with Annie. As usual, we've started the stream a bit early to get everything set up and broadcasting properly to our various platforms. You can find a countdown clock on the screen showing how long it will be until we actually go live. While you wait, please connect with us and other viewers in the chat. Let us know where you are from and whether you are a new or longtime viewer. We'll see you live soon. Hi, it's Annie again, reminding you that we'll be going live with this week's episode shortly. There is a countdown clock on the screen showing how much time is left. You've got just enough time to grab some water or beverage of your choice and a snack, and to connect with us in the chat. We'd love to hear what you've been working on this week. again, it's Annie, back to remind you that we'll be starting this week's live very shortly. We've got a really fun episode planned for today, and we'll see you soon. Hi, we're live and Glow said I have something on me, so I'll try and clean it off before we start here. All right, I am Annie of ByAnnie.com and Patterns by Annie. Thank you so much for joining us for episode 14 of season 3 of Live with Annie. Today we are wrapping up our series showcasing projects for organizing, accessing, and carrying your sewing tools, supplies, and projects. This week, we're highlighting larger travel bags for carrying your project. We're going to share some tips for making handles and straps and for customizing, assembling the projects. Our friend Sharon Thornton from FreeSpirit Fabrics will join us too to talk more about the Queen of Diamonds project, kits, and more, which were kind of the impetus for all of this. I have to say I am very happy to be back this week after missing last week's episode due to a toothache. Thank you so much to everyone who wrote sweet messages wishing me well. I really appreciated them. That was the first bad toothache I can ever remember having, and I do not ever want to have to go through that again. I got a root canal last Thursday, which was quick and easy, but my mouth is still sore, and today they put me on antibiotics. So the fun continues. It is amazing to me how something as small as an inflamed tissue at the end of a tooth can impact your whole day, and it really made me feel for those who are in chronic pain or who don't have the resources to take care of a toothache right away. Interestingly, I had been at the dentist for my regular 6-month checkup less than 2 weeks before, and all was well. I had noticed a little tenderness when they probed my teeth in this area, but they didn't seem to find anything wrong, and goodness, if they weren't going to find a cavity, I wasn't going to say anything. I had much more important things to deal with. Let me tell you, that was a bad move. I should have said something right then and there so that they could investigate and fix things before it got so bad. So here's my public service announcement to all of you today. If you have a tooth that's sensitive to pressure or heat, don't delay. Go see a dentist. All right, so 2 weeks ago, we shared ideas for 7 larger or more involved projects, perfect for organizing tools, supplies, and projects, and for beautifying your sewing room. If you missed that episode or want to watch it again, remember that you can find all the previous 114 episodes of Live with Annie on our Facebook page, our YouTube channel, or at ByAnnie.com. We'll put up the links to make them easy for you to find. And I'm going to grab some water before we get going today. So, as I said earlier, today we are coming to the end of our 4-episode segment featuring projects to organize everything you need for your Queen of Diamonds project or other sewing and crafts projects. We have shared ideas for storing fabric, projects to hold tools and supplies, and even more projects to hold all of those things plus projects in process. Today we're going to bring things to an end as we focus on some larger, more involved bags that can be used to carry everything on the road or to corral things together at home. Along the way, I'll share some tips and techniques for making handles and straps and assembling those projects for those of you who may be new to ByAnnie patterns and products. I will also share some info about our free ByAnnie Basics patterns and videos that we recommend for anyone who is new to our patterns. They are a great way to learn the basic techniques used in many of our patterns. And remember, if you have any questions or comments as we go, just add them in the comments or chat, and we will do our best to answer them before we close. So as I said, we are gearing these projects towards items that can be used as you work on the Queen of Diamonds quilt, which was designed to be used with fabrics from one of our very favorite designers, the incredible Tula Pink. Tula is an amazing illustrator and designer, and we love working with her beautiful fabrics. So several months ago, when our good friend Sharon Thornton from FreeSpirit emailed to ask if we'd be interested in helping build excitement for the upcoming Tula Pink project, we immediately said yes. Sharon proposed that we team up to present a couple of joint Inspired by FreeSpirit and Live with Annie episodes to showcase their Tula kit and some ByAnnie projects to use along with it. We had so many ideas and great Tula models to share that we expanded that series to 4 episodes. Since we know not everyone was back with us in the very first episode, we have invited Sharon back to join us today to tell us a little more about the project and help us wrap things up. So without further ado, please help me welcome Sharon Thornton of FreeSpirit Fabrics.
Hi, Annie.
Hello.
Thank you for having us. We are thrilled to be here, FreeSpirit Fabrics. We love to collaborate with you, and you make such wonderful projects. We've been following along, and as you mentioned, we were here with the first episode that you did in the series, and I did watch the second and third week, and you've shown some fantastic projects, so thank you.
You are welcome. It's always great to see you, and we have had a whole lot of fun over the past week showing those, so I'm glad to hear that you followed along and noticed them too. So before we get into today's projects,
Yes.
I'm hoping that you can take a few minutes and just tell us a little bit more about what the Queen of Diamonds quilt and kit are for viewers who didn't join us, so that they know a little bit more about that whole project.
Yes, I would love to. So the Queen of Diamonds quilt is behind me that you can see right here. We've shown it in a couple of episodes that we've done. We've had different guests on Inspired by over the past few weeks. ByAnnie's been wonderful. She's been bringing us through the whole process of the bags that she's done, and we'll go through a lot of those today. We also had Jess Finn on from Paper Pieces, and she was talking about the paper pieces that are needed for this project, as well as the acrylics that you can buy for this project. And then we also had Aurifil Threads on last week, supporting this project. And then we're here again with ByAnnie today, talking about the bags like I've already mentioned. So the quilt, I'm going to shuffle out of the way a little bit here so you can see it better. So this is an English paper piecing project. An EPP, as it's often referred to, means English paper piecing. This quilt in these sections here are all EPP. So the large diamonds within this quilt are EPP. So typically a project like this is done by hand. And this project is built and designed to be sewn by hand. Last week when we had Aurifil on, there was some discussion about potentially doing this by the machine, and Karen Miller mention that you could do this by machine, and we may have her back in the future to show how that could actually be done, to give a hands-on demonstration for those of you that may be interested in that. However, like I said, this project has been designed to do the handwork. I know there's many traditionalists out there that prefer just to do it, by hand, and we totally get that. But there may be others that would like to do it by machine. So we just want to make everyone aware that if you do decide to participate, you could do it both ways. But what's unique about this one is the diamonds here. Like I said, these are done by hand. And then the borders on all of these diamonds are sewn on by machine, as is all the sashing on this whole quilt. That's all sewn on by machine. And oftentimes when you see an EPP project, you will not see it develop that way. It will be all EPP. So this incorporates both techniques for people that, or want to do the EPP. What's great about EPP is you can bring it on the road with you, whether you're traveling, for leisure, whether you're going to soccer games, baseball games, whatever it is that you're doing, you're in a car going someplace, you have the ability to pull this project out, watching TV at night. It's very portable, and you can, bring an EPP project with you anywhere, which makes this really great. This quilt was designed by Chelsea O'Hare and the Pink Door team. That consists of Chelsea, Sandra Smith, Dina Melling, and Lisa Hawkins. And this quilt was quilted by Teresa Silva of Quilting Is My Bliss. And Teresa did a gorgeous job on this. If you are not familiar with Teresa, her quilting is outstanding. This quilt is 60 by 73 inches, and there are 91 different fabrics in it. Kudos to Chelsea and her team for incorporating that many fabrics into one quilt. I mean, that's quite the challenge. I mean, as makers, sometimes even pulling 7 or 8 fabrics into a quilt can be very challenging in and of itself. But to pull 91, fabrics in and have a quilt make sense, that's a real feat. And, hats off to them. They did a great job. Some of the collection, so this is all Tula Pink. Some of the collections that are included in this are Everglow, Moon Garden, Daydreamer, Tiny Beast, Curiouser and Curiouser, True Colors, and Tula Pink Solids. This is going to deliver in 4 different installments. I'm sliding back over. I'm going to block the quilt a little bit. It delivers in 4 different installments. It's going to start, the first installment will ship months 1 through 3. And it comes with the instruction booklet, which is awesome. So here is the instruction booklet. And there's the cover. This is done very nicely. You can see the layout of the quilt. Chelsea and her team did great. I can't kind of see what I'm doing here, so you have a little bit of me in it. They have a recommended supplies page here in the booklet, and then English paper piecing basics. They review that, and then they go through block by block throughout the whole booklet. It's a beautiful booklet. It's very nicely done. There's nothing chintzy about this. Every detail has been covered, and Chelsea and her team also have called out she's got thumbnails of all of the different designs that are included. I'm trying to get this closer so you can see it. So there should be no confusion. When you receive your fabrics, the fabrics in the fabric pack are not labeled one by one, but you can very easily identify them and call them out, because she has it all identified here in the book. So again, very, very nicely done. Like I said, the first shipment is going to come in May of this year. The program is going to start in June. The next shipment will be in August. It'll be months 4 through 6. Then the 4th will be in November. And the last one will be in January of 2024. What I'd like to remind everyone is that Chelsea and her team are doing videos, or maybe it's just Chelsea, I'm not sure which, but I did see a video that Chelsea's already prepared for this. Again, she's gone into the details. She gets into exactly how to start preparing this, how to cut with the templates, how to use the paper pieces, how to glue, etc. She's going through it very, very, with the fine tooth comb, a lot of support there. And then Tula Pink will also be doing her Tuesday Tula Talks, and she will be sewing along making this quilt as well. So a lot of inspiration, to get you going and support. Like I mentioned, Jess Finn was already on. She discussed different tips and techniques of ways she would do it. Karen Miller talked about, threads that you would like to, potentially like to use for this. And I should show you the threads. They're gorgeous threads. Here are the Aurifil threads. If you're interested in purchasing this, let your retailer know. These threads, I believe, are in the shops now. There are neons in here that are perfect to coordinate with this quilt, and all of the neutral threads in the bottom should you choose to use any of those. We do recommend the 50 weight for the sewing on this. Again, it's up to you. If you prefer a finer thread, you can use a finer thread, but we are recommending the 50 weight. So like I said, Just Fin was on. That is an additional purchase to this kit. Shops will be receiving the fabric packs and the pattern that I've already shown you. And then you will need to purchase the paper pieces and the acrylic templates if you're so inclined that you would like to use those to create this. I think I may have covered all the points in this. I hope that I have, and I hope I haven't forgotten anything. If you have any questions and you want to purchase a kit, reach out to your local retailer, ask them if they have purchased this yet, tell them you would like one. You can come to the FreeSpirit website, FreeSpiritFabrics.com. You can look for more information there about this program. And again, a lot of support here. There's going to be a lot of enthusiasm when this starts in June. And I want to get back over to Annie, because Annie, I know you're all tuning in to see what Annie wants to show you this week. She showed, or like we said earlier in an earlier episode, little bags to help get you organized. And there's your progress, your fabrics, your tools, your supplies, your blocks as you're carrying these around. And, she has wonderful Tula bags. Annie, we love everything that you do with our Tula bag, our Tula fabric in your bags. And we want to get back to you so you can tell everyone today what you're showing us.
Sounds great. Well, thank you for sharing all the information about the quilt. I was really interested to hear that you might be able to do it all on machine too, so I'll be curious to see that episode when you show it. I'm missing having the quilt laying on my table today. We sent it to you so you could send it on to Aurifil, but it is such a gorgeous quilt, and knowing that there's going to be so much support for people, I think that even those who are brand new to EPP, who've never done it before, are going to have really a great opportunity to make this. One thing that I don't think I heard you mention that I wanted to remember to remind people about is that you've also got a private Facebook group for the Queen of Diamonds Block of the Month project. Yes. And there's already stuff going on there. I've enjoyed seeing all the interactions, and it was especially fun yesterday to see Jerry's post where she posted all the different ByAnnie bags that she's already made to be ready for the sew-along. So I was really tickled to see that. She made in a place for everything. She did a set of project bags. She did what I think is a travel essentials. So she is really definitely set to sew at home or on the road with all those beautiful bags. So thank you, Jerry, for sharing those pictures. All right, so we are going to get started today, as I said, with some travel bags that you can use to take your project with you or throw all those different parts and pieces and different bags in today. So the first one that I want to talk about today is our pattern called Get Out of Town. So Get Out of Town is a functional, stylish duffel bag, and it would be perfect when you start sewing the quilt together to put it in here, even if you're not traveling, even if you just want someplace to store it at home and get it out of the way if you're working on another project. You can set this next to your chair at the while you're watching TV and doing your handwork and have everything together. So it would also hold some smaller bags as some of the ones we showed in earlier episodes. Or if you just are looking for a bag to carry when you go on a weekend trip, it's the perfect size, and it easily fits either in the overhead bin or under the seat in front of you. So Get Out of Town features pockets inside and out to help keep everything organized and easy to access. So on the outside front, there is a combination slip and zippered pocket. I like using that for my phone, my keys, my boarding pass, and those types of things when I travel. There are also slip pockets on each side, and on the back there is another slip pocket. So I've got one here that I want to show you turned inside out so you can see what the inside looks like too. So on the inside we have two more pockets. So there's one that's made out of mesh that's divided into 3 sections. there's another one that's made out of fabric. So the mesh pocket is bound on both the top and the bottom with fold-over elastic. The fold-over elastic stretches along with the mesh, so that's really good if you've got bulky items that you want to put in there. So there's also, and I want to show you how this works, you can just turn the bag right side out when you're done. This is a fun one that we made using Tula's Daydreamer collection. So it's knock your eyes out bright. Boy, my hands aren't wanting to work very well today. It's usually not this hard to turn this bag. The nice thing about Soft and Stable is you can turn it and wrinkle it and do all that, and it pops right back up and stands up and holds its shape and looks just as good as when it started. So here's what it looks like turned right side out. And what I wanted to show you is that we include directions to make a sleeve to cover a base stabilizer, and you can insert it in the bottom of the bag to give it a nice firm foundation. So we sell base stabilizers that are made out of acrylic. They are really nice and sturdy. You can also cut them out of foam board or corrugated plastic, any of those things, and then you just fold your sleeve over that and stick it in your bag. And then if you need to launder your bag, you just take out that acrylic base stabilizer and throw everything else in the laundry, and you can wash your bag really well. It's machine washable and dryable. A lot of times I'll just let it air dry so I don't have to listen to handles and straps banging around, but you could throw it in the dryer too if you wanted. So again, you put that base stabilizer down in the bottom and you've got a nice firm foundation. So the bag also has handles so that you can carry it by hand or over your shoulder. It also has an adjustable detachable carrying strap that has a pad, so it's really comfortable to carry it over your shoulder or cross body. And our patterns generally include instructions for making these straps using fabric that we stabilize by inserting polypro strapping inside, which is what we did on this bag. That enables you to make handles and straps that really match your project, but they're still going to be strong and sturdy for long-lasting wear. And we're going to talk a little bit later about how to make fabric straps, as well as how we customize this bag using some of Tula's webbing rather than fabric. So we'll get to those in a little bit. If you want a little bit larger bag, grab this one and bring it up. All right, so this one is the big brother to Get Out of Town. This is called Travel Duffle 2.1. So it's the perfect choice if you're looking for something really good sized. It's still designed to fit in an overhead bin. I don't think you could get this under the seat in front of you, but we do recommend that you confirm baggage regulations before you're traveling because airline restrictions do change. I have found on most of these, if you don't have it so full that it's not squishable, they squish quite a bit, and you can usually get them in pretty much anywhere. All right. This bag has even more pockets in inside and out to help keep you organized and easy to access. So there are 2 zippered pockets on the front, as well as a slip pocket. There are the 2 slip pockets on each end, and then on the back there is another slip pocket, and this one we added a trolley sleeve. So that makes it really easy to slip the bag over the handles on your rolling luggage. Because there are all those additional pockets, we just put 1 slip pocket on the inside of this, so it looks just like the one on there, and it goes all the way across the back and is divided into 3 sections. So just like Get Out of Town, the pattern also includes instructions for a fabric sleeve to cover a base stabilizer to support the bottom, and it's an easy bag to make. Note that both Travel Duffle and Get Out of Town are designed to be made with 1 big, large piece of quilted fabric. So that piece wraps around. It makes the top, the front, the bottom, the back, and the other half then of the front of the bag. And I kind of wanted to show you a few of the steps for making this bag, because I think people are always surprised at how easy it is. So this is what Travel Duffle looks like as 1 big piece of fabric. So you're going to start by getting that piece ready to go, and then you're going to mark some lines on it, and start assembling. So the first thing you're going to do is attach your pockets, the front ones, the back ones, and the trolley sleeve. And then the next thing you'll do is attach your handles. So they're put on over to cover the raw edges of your pockets. And once you get those positioned in place, you stitch them in place. Our new ByAnnie's double-sided basting tape makes this really easy to do. Sometimes it's hard to get pins through all these layers, especially when you've got heavy strapping in there. So I just run a little strip kind of down right where the middle of the strap would be, push my strap down, and then it's held in place until I get it sewn in place. Once you've got all that assembled, you also have to put your pockets on the back, and the pattern will tell you exactly when to do each so that you're not sewing through a pocket on one side as you attach one on the other side. There's a definite order to doing those. But once that's all done, then you're going to attach a zipper at the top. You'll sew one side on, you'll bring this side over, sew it there, and then you've got what makes a big loop. And as I showed you on the first bag, and I'm going to bring that one back up. Once you've got that joined as a loop, then you're going to attach the ends, which make the sides of the bag, and you just use some binding to cover the raw edges of those seams on the inside. Because of the way both Travel Duffle and Get Out of Town are designed, the zipper extends all the way across the top of the bag, but it doesn't come down the sides of the bag at all. So I'm often asked if either of these bags could be used to carry a sewing machine, and I usually steer people away from these bags because of that reason. Because the zippers don't extend down the sides, inserting and removing something as big and bulky as a sewing machine would be kind of a hassle. But if you're headed to a retreat and you want to go in with one bag rather than a bunch, Travel Duffle is really good to corral all types of things. So on this bag, I have put a set of pack-it-in bags. So here's the large one. I haven't filled them with fabrics and things, but I put just some plastic in them to give them some shape so that they'd take up the right amount of room. So I've got the large one in there, I've got the medium one in there, and I've got the small one in there. So all three of those, and you can imagine how much you could organize in a set of pack-it-in bags. So you could also put some project bags in here, lots of different things that you could put in there. A running with scissors, a take a stand. In this Get Out of Town, I have packed it. Let's see what I've got in here. It's been a while since I did it, so I'm not sure I remember. All right, so I've got my running with scissors in here, which is the bag we designed to carry all our scissors and tools. I've got a small take a stand in here, which is the bag I designed to be the companion to running with scissors, so that when I get to class and want to access all my tools, I've got a way for those to stand up. The take a stand is perfect for carrying my iron and other small items. And then I also have a little stash and dash in here. You could also put some project packs in here, project bags, a thread dispenser, an applique to go, even the long roll fits in here. So lots of different things that you can carry these. All of these projects that I showed are ones that we have showcased in the past 3 weeks. So if you missed any of those episodes, be sure to check them out. And again, we'll put up the link to make them easy to find. So I think I'll leave that there. Take these off the table so I've got a little more room to work. And next we're going to talk about this bag, which is our ultimate travel bag. So this is one of our most popular patterns. It's the bag that I do recommend for those who want to carry a small sewing machine. So ultimate travel bag will hold, I've put my Singer Featherweight in here. It holds like a Janome Gem, a Pfaff Passport, probably the small Bernina. Any of those will work in this bag. And I think people are often really surprised by how simply this bag comes together, and we are going to walk through the steps in a bit. But I can tell you, I have seen this bag made by people who have never even sewn before, let alone made a bag. So don't let it scare you away. As we said earlier, Get Out of Town and Travel Duffle are made with one big piece for the body that wraps around to form the top, front, bottom, and back of the bag, and then you attach ends to make the sides. So what's different about Ultimate Travel Bag is that it has a separate front and back, and that makes it much easier to use a directional fabric because you don't have to worry about one side of your fabric being upside down when you turn it around. And what it does differently, instead of having ends, it has a zipper side strip loop that forms the top, sides, and bottom of the bag. Because that's a separate strip, the beauty of that is that it enables the zippers to extend down the sides instead of just across the top. That makes it really easy to access everything inside, even a sewing machine if that's what you had in here. So Ultimate Travel Bag has a variety of pockets just like the others. So on the front we have a combination slip and zippered pocket. We have slip pockets on each end, which are shaped a little bit so that you can put more bulky items in them, like a water bottle. And then there's a slip pocket on the back. And just like Travel Duffle, it has a trolley sleeve. So that's really helpful when you're traveling, because on these large bags, that really is nice to be able to set it on another suitcase and carry it that way. So just like the others, it has handles for carrying it by hand. It also has an adjustable detachable carrying strap with a pad if you want to carry it over the shoulder or crossbody. I gotta grab another quick drink of water. And I'm losing my earbuds here, so I'm going to take them out until Sharon comes back on. I don't need to hear myself. All right. I wanted to show you this bag. This is one that we made using K Fabrics fabrics, and the pattern includes instructions for adding buttons on the bottom to the bag to serve like purse feet to help reduce wear and tear. So as you can see here, we layered some buttons. We did both red and purple. That gives it a fun look and also lifts them up a little bit further off the ground. We sew these to our bag using our sewing machine, and we have a really good tutorial on our website for that if you'd like to learn more. We'll put up the link, but you can also find it just by clicking on the tutorials tab at ByAnnie and then scrolling down to the part that says sewing buttons on with your sewing machine. So on the inside of the bag, I'm going to turn this one inside out. Oops. I want my extra bottle of water. So this is a bag that we made using Tula's Tiny Beasts fabric combined with some of her true colors. I love these hexies, and that blue is definitely my color, so fun fabric to use. All right, so on the inside, we have a full height zippered pocket on one side. And then on the other side, we have a gathered slip pocket that's gathered using fold over elastic, and that's divided into 3 sections. So it's a perfect place to put your glasses, your wallet, smaller items like that. We usually make this pocket out of fabric and the other one out of mesh, but the pattern includes instructions for making them out of either one, so you can choose whichever one you prefer. One thing that is different about this, because of the way the bag is designed, rather than inserting a loose stabilizer in a sleeve like we did on Get Out of Town and Travel Duffle, Ultimate Travel has an attached stabilizer sleeve that's in the bottom of the bag. So when you want to put your stabilizer in that, you have to turn your bag inside out to do it. So you insert your stabilizer into there, and then I have found the easiest way to turn it is to reach my hand in and grab that and then turn one end at a time. So I've got that end turned, and then I'll reach in down here and turn this end a little bit at a time. As you can see, we've got fun pink bottoms on, or buttons on the bottom of this bag. So there you go. So you've got your base stabilizer in there, you've got your bag turned right side out, and just super easy to do. So if you have never made an Ultimate Travel Bag, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised by how it comes together. So I wanted to take just a minute and show you some of the steps for assembling it. Give me a minute to grab everything. This is enough for more than one bag, so don't let it look overwhelming to you. These are step outs that I made of all the different steps. But as with all ByAnnie patterns, the first thing that you're going to do is start making the various components of the bag, so that when it's time to start putting everything together, everything's ready to go and it's simple and easy. So the first step is to take a square of fabric, make your bias binding that's used to cover all the raw edges. Then you're going to make your handles and straps, and we're going to talk about those in a minute, and all the various pockets. So we've got the side pockets that go on the ends, the back pocket, the trolley sleeve, the slip zip pocket for the front, the mesh pocket that goes on the inside, the divided pocket. So simple and easy to do. Basically all these are binding. That's about all that's involved in those, and adding a couple of zippers. Next, you're going to do the zipper side strip. And the process of doing that, you've got 2 strips of fabric that form the top of your bag. You're going to install a zipper between them. You're going to do a little bit of shaping on that. So you can see here's the top edge with no shaping. Here's what the bottom edge looks like. And shaping just involves marking some lines as directed, stitching inside them, and then cutting on the lines. Once you've got that whole thing shaped, then you're going to attach it to your side strip, which you've also prepared. So your side strip is what becomes these sides and the bottom of your bag. You've got those side pockets that you're going to attach. You've got some tabs that you've attached for your straps. You've got your buttons that you've sewn on the bottom. And then you're going to do a little shaping on it so it looks like that. You're going to add your stabilizer sleeve, and then you'll join your zipper strip to that to make that loop that goes all the way around the bag. That out of the way. All right, then you're ready to start on your front and back of your bag. So each of those start as a rectangle. You'll notice that the bag is shaped, but we don't do that basically until the very end, because we want to work with a square or rectangle so that when we mark lines and get those all ready to go, everything's easy to measure. So we've got our front and back. We're going to mark some lines so that we know where to attach the pockets and get them right in the center. We're going to put our handles over it to finish the raw edges of that. So those in place. You'll do the same thing on the back. Do a little shaping on those. Again, it's just a matter of marking some angled lines, using some circle rulers to round the corners. You've got your front and back of your bag together, and then you just take that prepared piece, take your zipper side strip that you've made, join that, bind it, and then you'll put your other side in. So it looks overwhelming. When you read the pattern, sometimes it's like there's a lot of steps, but if you follow it step by step through, they all just progress, and all of a sudden you've got a beautiful finished bag. So Ultimate Travel Bag is really fun. It's pretty easy to make, and it's perfect for carrying all your Queen of Diamonds tools, supplies, and project pieces, or everything for a weekend trip. Sharon, do you want to come back on and see if I have any questions? You can, I can answer any questions for you, or you can help me answer questions. So I do have a question here that Randy posted. I'm going to put my earbuds back in so I can hear you. And it says, I can't find a Canadian retailer that still has available Block of the Month kits for Queen of Diamonds. Can I buy the pattern paper pieces and my own fabric and still follow along and participate? And if I can do that, how do I get the instruction booklet? Does that come with the pattern?
That's a very good question. So the instruction booklet can be purchased through Pink Door Fabrics in the month of July. So when the program starts, you can reach out to Pink Door Fabrics and buy the pattern direct from them. In terms of getting the actual fabrics for this, I don't know if there could potentially be a U.S. retailer that may be watching that might want to pop in that they have it. I'm sorry, who was the person? Randy, did you say?
Randy just put it up. I don't know who it was who asked.
Right. So
somebody
maybe
in the chat.
Answer Randy. Right. If they have it, if they could answer and let them know that they have it, she could buy it from them. And then, yes, everybody has to go direct to Paper Pieces to buy the paper pieces for this and the acrylics if they're so inclined to do it. You definitely need the paper pieces to do this. The acrylics are an added perk, if you will. It's just going to make the process way easier in terms of fussy cutting. So, and we did see a question. I think somebody had answered it. Somebody had a question on which bag would you recommend to carry around the acrylics and the paper pieces in. But before you answer that, Annie, I just wanted to say that love seeing all your bags on the set. I love seeing all the FreeSpirit designers that you've made your bags in. Obviously, we're showcasing the Tula bags for the Tula project, which we love seeing. But I also saw, as you showed, the Cave bag. And I also saw Billy Roo in your background. So I just want to let everybody know that FreeSpirit has many, many designers. Annie's great. She loves our fabrics, is always making bags out of the fabrics. But I did want to let everyone know also, Annie, I'd never seen how you had used the buttons before in the bottom, because I was actually thinking that while you were showing it. I'm like, wow, it'd be great if that had feet. And in the bag that you had shown, the K Facet bag, K Facet has buttons too. A lot of people may not know that.
I did not know that.
Buttons are made by Dilly Buttons. And so if anyone wanted to, and you were, wanted to cafe out your bag, you could definitely get Dilly Buttons. There are retailers that sell them. I'd look out, I'd Google it and look for a retailer that carries those buttons and try to get them, if you wanted to. I mean, they're fun. They're very cafe. So, anyways, are there any other questions that you had seen? Okay. So I think we're good in terms of the questions. Love your bags, and I love the Ultimate Travel Bag. And I'm sitting here thinking Mother's Day is coming and I should just treat myself and take a day. Do you think it's doable in a day? So if your
fabric is already quilted and cut out, do you have fabric quilted and cut out?
Right.
Yeah, if you had that done, I would say that my model maker, who's sewn a lot of models, I think she makes one of these in about 6 hours. So if you're new to it, I'd say probably allow double that probably, because she's pretty fast. But a good long weekend, I think you could easily have this bag done. And if you have any questions while you're working, you know who to find. We also have an add-on video that doesn't go step by step through the project, but it includes some of the more unique or things that are different from the prior versions. So those are always helpful too. And that would be a great treat for yourself. So I love that idea. The question from someone who wanted to know, say that again.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
That's all right. The question from someone who wanted to know what to store the paper pieces and the acrylic templates. I'm not sure how big they are, but I would think that a take-a-stand would work well for that, or a place for everything would be especially nice, because you've got those pocket pages with all the different pockets that you can customize to be just the right sizes. So I think, one of the back full-size pockets would be perfect for putting the paper pieces in, and then you can divide either 3 or 2 pockets for the others. They'd be perfect for holding the templates. So actually, now that I think about it, she may have sent me some sew tights. I think all the paper piece templates that I have are ones that I had here from projects that I've never finished. So, but if they're like these, they come in fairly small bags. So I would think a place for everything would be really ideal for that. She also sent me the markers. I don't think she sent me any of the acrylic templates, but even the small little rotary cutter that she uses when she's rotary cutting, mat, that would fit inside the place for everything really nicely. Or if you want something that you can just easily move from place to place, you can never go wrong with a catch-all caddy. So this is a great way. It's got little bellowed dividers in here instead of pockets, so you can put different things in those and see easily what you've got to organize everything. So this is one of my favorite projects, and one I always recommend. So before we move on too far, I wanted to talk a little bit about making handles and straps and what we did differently on the bags that we made using Tula's webbing. So normally we design our patterns so that you use fabric covered strapping, so that you've got the strength of strapping, but you've got the the design choice of fabric that matches your projects. So I just wanted to show you real quickly what the steps are to doing that. So the first thing is you're going to cut your fabric, and the width is going to depend on the finished width that you want your strap to be. So if you want a 1.5 inch strip, you're going to cut a 3 3/4 inch wide strip of fabric. If you want a 1 inch strap, you're going to cut a 2 3/4 inch wide. And since we usually make straps that are long enough to wear your bag crossbody, a full width of fabric isn't enough. So we always have to join two pieces. And we do that just by joining them with a 1/2 inch seam. And then one trick that we always recommend is once you get that seam pressed open, run a line of stitches down the sides all the way around that seam to hold it down. Because in a later step, you're going to turn this and make a tube, and you're going to pull strapping into it. And it's the most annoying thing in the world when your bodkin or your strapping or your safety pin gets caught under that seam and doesn't move. And then when it does move, you end up with a lump in your strap where that seam was. So just by sewing along that edge before you do that, you solve a lot of headaches. Once you've got that sewn, then you're going to fold your strip in half with your right sides together, and you're just going to sew from one end to the other. And one thing that is really important on this, we use generally 1/4 inch seams in our projects. Sometimes we use scant 1/4 inch, generous 1/4 inch, 1/8 inch seams, but on this it's really important that you use an accurate 1/4 inch seam, because after you have that sewn together, you're going to press that seam open and you're going to turn that tube right side out and pull strapping in. And if your seam allowance was too wide, your strapping's not going to fit. And if your seam allowance was too loose, your strapping's going to fit and there's going to be extra fabric and you're going to end up with a wrinkly looking strap. So after you've got it done like this, then you're going to turn it right side out. And we have a number of tools that we recommend. And the first one that I want to show you is a tool we sell on our website, but you can find these at local quilt shops everywhere, I'm sure. And there's different brands have different names. The one we sell is called a quick turn tool. I've seen it called other things depending on the brand, but basically they all have a series of plastic tubes and then little wooden sticks that you can use to turn them right side out. So once you've got your strap ready to go, you're going to insert that tube into the strap, and I like to leave about 2 or 3 inches hanging out here at the end. Then I'm going to take my little wooden stick and insert it in. The trick on this is making sure that it maintains contact with this fabric and doesn't end up going through the opening at the end, because if it does that, your stick comes out and your fabric's still stuck in there. So that's why I like to leave a little bit more fabric down here. But I stick that in, I push that up, and as you can see, there's the end of my strapping coming out of there. I can just use my tube to push that off, use my stick to push it out, and now I've got my strap turned right side out, just super quick and easily. If you've tried doing that any other way, you know what a chore it is, and this little tool, which is, $10 or less, is such a good investment. So after you've got your tube turned right side out, then you're going to take it and you're going to center that seam right in the middle of the back, and you're going to give it a good pressing. And then your next step is to insert some strapping into that tube. And I think I've got one here that's ready to go, so let's find one that doesn't have anything in it. So here's one that's turned, it's pressed, it's ready to go, and I've got a piece of strapping ready to go. Now, the way I used to always do this was with a big safety pin. And on a short strap like that, that's pretty easy to do, but if you've got a really long strap, like those ones we put on travel duffel that go all the way around, that's like 108 inches, invariably you would get 1/3 of the way through and your zipper or your safety pin would come open, and then you're trying to get it closed without catching the fabric in it, or it would come loose or it would pull off. And we said there's got to be a better way. We looked high and low. We've tried lots of different bodkins. This is the one that so far we like the best. This is made by Clover. It's called a clip and guide bodkin, and you just it has a little alligator clamp kind of on the end. You just insert that into your strapping, close the clamp, and then I usually fold the strapping up around the tool, insert it into my strap, and then you've got enough length there that you can push and pull it through. So then you just start pushing your fabric. There's a little kind of tip on the end of that you can grab a hold of, pull your strap down, and you can see how quick and easy it is to pull your strapping into that tube. You want to get it nice and centered, and then depending on how you're attaching your handles to your bag, you're either going to leave the ends raw or you're going to turn them under. So on Ultimate Travel, for instance, these handles go all the way in and get sewn into the bottom seam. So I don't need to finish the ends of those. But on the carrying strap, I need to find one that's made out of fabric that I can show you. On the carrying strap, your handle turns over and it's not hidden in a seam. So on that, you need to finish the ends before you finish sewing your strap together. So you'll turn the ends to the inside against your strapping, and then you'll top stitch all the way around and you'll have a handle ready to go. For those of you who thought that all went really fast, know that we have a free pattern that has a full add-on video that's going to be really helpful to you. It's called Carrying Strap and Pad. It includes basically instructions for a 1-inch or a 1.5-inch strap, as well as a pad size to fit that. And it has all the instructions that I just showed you in greater detail, as well as information about how to put the hardware on to make your strap adjustable and detachable. I'm going to grab one more quick drink, and then we're going to talk about what we did different on these bags. Oh, I'm going to have a mess to clean up back here today. All right. Say that again. Scoot this one further back. How's that? Is that good? All right. So all three of the bags that we showed today, the Get Out of Town, the Travel Duffle, and the Ultimate Travel Bag, we customized by using Tula Pink's 1.5-inch webbing that Renaissance Ribbons manufactures. So we were able to skip cutting the fabrics for the handles, carrying strap, and tabs, and we just used the webbing what I call naked. We didn't put anything over it. So if you want to do that, there are a few minor changes that you'll need to do. So the first thing, as we discussed, is when you make the handles using fabric tube, we usually cut the strapping shorter than the fabric so that we can avoid the bulk in these bottom seams. So we would have fabric going all the way down into the seam, but our strapping would stop up here. So you can't just go to the pattern and cut your straps according to the size that we call for in the strapping, because then you're not going to have quite enough. So what we recommend that you do, if you're not using fabric and you're using webbing, just follow what the pattern calls for the handles so that you know that you've got enough. So read what it says and for what you need for the fabric handles and straps, and cut your webbing to those lengths, and then you'll be fine. The other thing to keep in mind is that webbing tends to fray easily along the ends. So I know Tula and Renaissance Ribbons, who make it, recommend that you burn the ends, which is really helpful. We also like to cover them with something. So on this Get Out of Town, I can show you here, we took just a little piece of vinyl and folded it over and stitched through it, and that covers those ends. Let's see what we did on this one. Let's see on that one. I'm looking for the strap. Here we go. On this strap that we made for Travel Duffle, we made a little fabric covering. So we just made sure these edges were finished and folded it over, and that covers the end. So either way works. You just want to do something so that you avoid those coming loose, because I can tell you any kind of webbing, once it starts fraying, you're lost. So burn them, and then we also like to cover them to make them nice. So we covered quite a few basic techniques. As I said today, if you are brand new to ByAnnie patterns and haven't made them before, we do have a set of free patterns on our website. They're called the ByAnnie Basics. You can find them just by clicking on the Patterns tab, and then there will be a drop-down menu that says ByAnnie Basics. At the core of that group, there are 4 really simple patterns. So I wanted to dig those out and show those to you really quickly. So the first one that we recommend that you make is called Petit Four baskets. You learn about working with soft and stable and the structure that it gives a project as you make these. These are great for fabric, great for wonder clips, all kinds of little treasures. The next one that we recommend you make is called Peacekeeper. We made this one using Tula Pink's handmade fabric. In this one, you learn about quilting with soft and stable. You learn to make simple interfaced handles, attach a zipper in a mesh pocket, add a border, make your own binding, round corners, attach binding, join the ends with a diagonal seam. Lots of great techniques as you make this simple little project. Then we recommend Call Me. This is one we made using Valerie Wells's fabric, who's also a FreeSpirit designer. This is just a little tiny project, but in the course of making this, you continue to practice quilting, binding. You also learn to work with vinyl. You learn to attach a zipper in a quilted fabric pocket. You learn to work with mesh and fold over elastic and attach your binding so it becomes a strap. And then the last one is Easy Does It, which is a dimensional bag. So you continue to develop your skills of quilting, cutting, adding zippers, making handles, but you also learn the importance of a flat binding on the seam that joins your zipper strip to your side strips, and how to assemble a dimensional bag. So each one of these patterns is available as a free PDF download. They also include full step-by-step video tutorials. And those tutorials aren't just the project, they take you through every step of the project with tips for cutting, quilting, binding, and more. So the great thing is they're small little projects. They require just a few basic supplies, a very minimum investment of time, and as you make them, you learn basically all the basic ByAnnie techniques. So once you've completed them, you are going to feel the confidence to tackle almost any ByAnnie pattern. So again, if ByAnnie patterns are new to you, we highly recommend those, and then you are welcome to go on. The ByAnnie world is your oyster. So I hope you enjoyed seeing all of these projects and that you're excited about making some bags to keep your project supplies organized as you work on your Queen of Diamonds quilt or any other project. Thank you all so much for joining us today and for the past 3 episodes. And Sharon, thank you again for inviting us to join you for these episodes and suggesting this topic. We always love visiting with you, and we really look forward to seeing you again soon. Jake's put you back on screen so you can
Thank you, Annie. Thank you.
Share any important words of advice that you have.
Thank you for inviting us as well. And as we previously said, we enjoy collaborating with you very, very much. You make our fabrics sing. They sing already, but you make them sing in a completely different way. We hope that everyone is getting very excited for the Queen of Diamonds project. We thank you for these 4 episodes of, bringing everybody along and all the different projects that could be made to help support this larger project as well. And it'll be, worked over the course of a year, and there'll be plenty of sewing to be done. I hope everyone's getting their bags ready. And like I previously said, Mother's Day, treat yourself, make one for a friend, whatever it is you want to do, make a bag, get ready. The kits are going to start delivering in May, and this kicks off in June. There's going to be a lot of social media around it, and people are going to be very excited, and you're going to wish you were part of it. So again, Annie, thank you for having us. And your tips and tricks are fabulous. I love that little bodkin. I never knew that even existed. So great takeaway for today. I've got to get one of those.
Yep, you do. It is such a great thing. Thank you again so much for joining us. We will see you again soon, I hope. Have a great weekend and a good Mother's Day coming up soon.
Thank you.
All right. So thank you again to everyone. I know this is going to be such a fun project and sew along. We can't wait to see the beautiful quilts and other projects that you all make. So don't forget to send photos to us, especially if you're making ByAnnie projects, to hold your EPP supplies. We have a photo contest with prizes every month, and we love seeing what you make. So to find that information, you just go to our website, and up at the top bar, you'll see a photo contest gallery link, and all the stuff there is there for entering. And again, remember, if you want any of these fabrics, any of these patterns, the Queen of Diamonds kits, various supplies like a Clover Clip and Glide bodkin, be sure to check first at your local quilt shop. Quilt shops are such an important part of our sewing and quilting communities, and it is up to all of us to keep them going strong and vibrant. If they don't have these products, they can certainly get them either from their favorite distributor or from us. And we're happy to set up a wholesale account for them. So just ask them to contact us and we'll get them all set up. All right, we don't have any announcements today, but let's move on next to our featured local quilt shops of the week. At ByAnnie, we are all about supporting local quilt shops, and one of our favorite events each year is the local quilt shop contest, which we celebrate in February. During the contest, we encourage sewists to vote for their favorite quilt shop and share a little bit about what makes them special. And to continue the fun and support of local businesses, each week we highlight a store or more and some of their voter submissions during Live with Annie. So today we are featuring two different shops, both of whom were regional winners in this year's contest, and both of whom currently have ByAnnie trunk shows on display. So we're going to go first to La Plata, Maryland, about 45 minutes south of Washington, D.C., to visit our friends at Material Girls Quilt Boutique. Owners Amy and Robin Henley, a mother-daughter team, opened Material Girls Quilt Boutique, which most people call MGQB, in April of 2003. So for 20 years, Material Girls has served their customers and community, offering a friendly environment to learn and expand their knowledge in a hobby that has gained popularity in recent years. To celebrate their 20th anniversary and their win in our 2013 LQS contest, Material Girls will have their ByAnnie trunk show on display throughout the entire month of April. When asked to tell us a bit about their history, Amy wrote, "I just started quilting about a year before we opened the store. I got into sewing as a hobby to reduce stress. I had no idea quilt shops even existed until about 6 months before we opened Material Girls. An opportunity presented itself, and Mom and I jumped at the chance to create our own space. MGQB has grown to include a bright and open 8,000 square foot store, an online store, a Bernina dealership, a YouTube channel, numerous weekly groups, and virtual and in-person clubs. There is truly something for everyone. MGQB also provides an all-inclusive retreat twice a year. Hundreds of ladies and gentlemen gather from all over the country for a long weekend filled with fabric, fun, and friendship. Their next retreat is scheduled for November and will be in Leesburg, Virginia. Registration for that will open in June. I have to say, those retreats look like so much fun, and one of these days, I just might have to join them. So Material Girls Quilt Boutique was the regional winner for Maryland in this year's contest, and customers who voted for them especially praised the store's family atmosphere and education. Indy wrote, "I am a virtual customer of this amazing store, or should I say family. Through online classes and video tutorials and their weekly Live at 5, Amy and her crew make you feel like you are there with them. I was in the area on a recent trip to DC, and my husband, without a blink, said, 'Aren't we going to your quilt shop in Maryland?' He knew how I felt about the MGQB community. As I was speaking to someone, Amy came out from the back, recognizing my name, and greeted us. The fact that she recognized my name out of thousands of customers totally made my day. Another supportive husband, Dwayne, wrote, "If I want to surprise my wife, they know what her interests are and how to guide me. Robin worked with me to surprise my wife with a new sewing machine. They give my wife so much joy, and to me, that is all that counts." Jennifer praised the store's great selection, saying, "The selection of fabric, patterns, and accessories is larger than any shop I've visited, and I've been to at least one shop in over 40 states." And Lisa wrote, "To teach others how to sew and quilt is one part of the equation, but Amy takes the education aspect of the shop to a different level. The level of loving the craft, the process of the craft, and the planning to start that project from the pattern decision, picking out the fabric, working the project, and then loving what you created with her help and guidance." Many of you viewers may recall that Amy was our guest here on Live with Annie last July when she shared lots of tips for using an embroidery machine for bag making projects. If you want to revisit that episode or watch it for the first time, just search for Season 2, Episode 31 at Live with Annie. And we send congratulations to Amy and Robin and all the team at Material Girls Quilt Boutique on their 20th anniversary. Be sure to stop in and check out their ByAnnie display, trunk show on display, which will be there until the end of April, and give them all a big hug from me. All right, next we are going to travel to Garden Valley, Idaho to visit Stitch and Snip, who is the regional winner for Idaho in this year's LQS contest. So owners Rena Hastings and Anna Gardner are another mother-daughter combo. I think that's something that's pretty common in this industry. Rena has been in the quilting industry for over 40 years and loves teaching and inspiring quilters. She loves trying different techniques and teaching them to others. And she's tried everything from piecework and hand embroidery to wool work and paper piecing. Anna loves color, especially coloring Judy Niemeyer paper-pieced quilts. Batik fabrics are her weakness in life, but really, who wouldn't love having over 2,000 batiks to play with? Paper piecing is her passion, and teaching is what puts a smile on her face. She especially enjoys seeing students complete their projects and seeing the sense of accomplishment and confidence that grows in each student. When she's not teaching, Anna loves to create beautiful quilt kits of all types. She's always searching for new and fun ideas. One more drink. So Stitch and Snip began in 2004 when Rena and her husband moved to Garden Valley, a little piece of heaven in the mountains. Rena's dream of owning her own quilt shop was realized, and she also offered scrapbooking supplies, hence the name Stitch for quilting and Snip for scrapbooking. Over time, interests changed, and the scrapbooking room was used for knitting and then wool applique and embroidery. Anna helped her mom open the store and then went on her own learning journey. But she's been back now for 10 years working alongside Rena, and they are very excited to celebrate their 20th anniversary in 2024. Stitch and Snip offers the largest selections of batiks in Idaho with over 2,000 bolts, 100% cotton fabrics, 108-inch backings, flannels, cuddle fabrics, hand-dyed wools, and more. They also love rulers and gadgets to make life easier, so their notions room is always full of great tools. Their storefront is about 2,500 square feet, and they also have a 1,500 square foot classroom studio for classes, workshops, and retreats. Rena, Anna, and their wonderful team run 12 to 20 block of the month programs a year and teach paper piecing, traditional piecing, bag making, and much more. Rena and Anna told us, "We are definitely a destination quilt shop, and we are known for our kits. We have 100+ samples hanging in the store year-round, and we have a kit to go with each one. We have been told that our store looks like a quilting museum as there are so many samples to look at. You have to just go around the store multiple times to get it all in. We just love it all." So at Stitch and Snip, you'll find quilt kits for all levels, from small to queen and king size. These include panel quilts, easy piecing quilts, and kits that use laser cut applique, wool applique, and paper piecing. But they have lots of challenging and uniquely pieced quilts too. Stitch and Snip will be participating in a shop hop from April 20th to the 29th, along with 10 quilt shops in Idaho and Eastern Oregon. And their ByAnnie trunk show will be on display from April 20th to May 20th. Customers who voted for Stitch and Snip in this year's contest praised the store's broad selection, welcoming atmosphere, and quality of instruction. Lori said, "Stitch and Snip always has what I'm looking for. Tons of great fabric and customer service. This is a small mountain community, and this shop is a lifeline for many of us. During the pandemic, it became one of my sources for keeping up with the community and friends. The fabric was an added bonus that kept me occupied with my quilting needs." And Marion wrote, "One of the things I most appreciate about Stitch and Snip is the quality of instruction. Anna is not only extremely patient, but also has the ability to offer several different ways of learning a skill. Rena and Anna want every student to be successful. Their goal is completed projects, not just sales." And Anna said they have the best selection of batiks, and their Judy Niemeyer kits are amazing. When you walk in or come to classes, it feels like family. They take you in and make the rest of the work disappear for a time. It's always amazing to escape to the mountains and get refreshed with all the things I love. And Janice wrote, "They're always there to help. I came on the wrong day for a class, and Anna just said, 'Stay, and we can play together.'" I really loved reading that. I thought that was such a great attitude. Stitch and Snip sounds like a delightful store in a fabulous location and is definitely an excuse for a road trip. So be sure to check them out if you are in the Idaho area. And thank you again to everyone who joined us today. We are going to be back next Wednesday at 2 p.m. Mountain Time with another really fun episode of Live with Annie. Spring is in the air, Mother's Day is just around the corner, so we thought it would be fun to do a sew-along to make our free pattern flower wrist pincushion. And I forgot to bring one back here with me, but it's a cute little pincushion. You put it on your wrist. It makes a great gift for anyone who sews or quilts. It's fun and easy to make, so take a minute to download that free pattern at our website, get your fabrics and supplies ready to go, and then come join me next week for a bit of sewing together. And until then, happy stitching!